Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. Today is Tuesday, the 15th of August 2017, and I'm so glad that you're joining me today. This is a bit of an impromptu episode. I was going to record last week, and then that just didn't work out. First, time-wise, work-wise, and then I got sick. I'm not sure, maybe you can still hear it a little bit. I'm still not 100%, but I'm much better. And it's been ages since I've podcasted, so I'm just trying to get an episode out today. I have ridiculous amounts of stuff to show you guys, so I'm just going to start and see how far I get. Where should I start? First of all, we are recording in a different location today for reasons that I won't get into. The sound might be a little bit different because of that. It feels very different, but we'll just go with it and see how it goes. So first of all, we have a Ravelry group called the Happy Knitting Podcast group, and that's where you can find all of the show notes, knit-alongs, and all sorts of things. And if you did participate in the Celebrate Your Stash Along, or CYSCAL, please do check last week's, the last episode, because there's one winner that did not get in touch with me, and if I don't hear from you until I record again, which might very well be next week, I will redraw prizes. So if you did take part in it and you didn't watch last week's episode, please just watch and check if you're the winner. So with that, I'm just going to go straight into the episode. We have so much stuff to show you guys, and I'm just going to show you everything without too much of a structure to it today. So the first thing that I want to show you, I literally just got in the mail. I just got home from our trip, and there was a package waiting for me, and the package is from Haley, who has the Ducky Darlings Etsy store. She's in the UK, and I think her store is relatively new, and she offered for me to pick some yarn from her shop and try it, which was super, super lovely. So I picked one skein of yarn, which is this one, and she caked it up for me, which was great. This is her hand-dyed merino nylon and gold stellina base, and the colorway is called Scribble, and it's beautiful, sort of, for me it reminds me of the sea and beach holiday sort of colors. It's really, really, really stunning. She attached a little ducky stitch marker as well, which is beautiful, and I really, really love it. She's on Etsy, just etsy.com/duckydarlings, so you can find her there. But as if that wasn't enough, she also sent some stuff for you guys. So she sent this package of 3 beautiful minis in her merino nylon base, which are absolutely gorgeous, as well as some lavender pouches and another ducky progress keeper, which I've attached to this card. So these will be a prize for an upcoming knit along that I haven't talked about yet, but I will do that. So thank you so much, Haley, for donating that to me and to the podcast. I really, really appreciate it, and I can't wait to try that yarn. I love yarn with gold stellina, so super excited about that. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I have ridiculous amounts of stash acquisitions later, so I figured it might be fun to have some yarn in the beginning as well. So let's talk about finished objects, because I have 4. The first thing I finished, and I've worn it a lot of times since, so it's not perfectly blocked, is my Kalara shawl, which is a pattern by Amber O'Brien. It's a pretty simple sort of chevron garter stitch pattern, and I love this thing to death. It's super, super drapey, and I think this might be one of my favorite shawls I've ever knit in terms of wearability. I've worn this so much, and it is super, super comfortable. The yarns that I've used are Drops Baby Alpaca Silk, which is part of why it is so drapey. And the second yarn was Hedgehog Fiber sock yarn in the Fool's Gold colorway. So I really, really love how this turned out. I think you can see how beautiful and drapey it is. And I think that's all I have to say about it. I just really, really love it, and I've been wearing it a ton. And the combination of baby alpaca silk and the merino from the sock yarn just makes for a super comfortable and beautiful shawl. I really love it. So that's my first finished object. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this new location. This is probably not going to be permanent, but yeah, it is throwing me off a little bit. Next, I finished a whole bunch of socks. So to go in the order in which I finished them, I finished my Nicole C. Mendes socks, And these are socks that I knit out of her Stripy Sock Club in the Cupcake colorway. And the pattern that I used is the ever so popular Hermione's Everyday Socks pattern, which I think works perfectly with the stripes. I put in an afterthought heel, which you can see there, and I really love this sock. I can't wait for it to get cooler and for me to wear them. I do have a second sock, but I'm, of course, once again running out of sock blockers, so there you go. That's my first pair of socks. My second pair of socks that I finished just before our holiday, and that's these socks. Both of these socks, the ones I just showed you, and these ones were the ones that I knit on in our France holiday. Again, I have two. And for this one, I used Das Mondschaf, who is another German dyer, in her Einhornpups colorway, which means unicorn fart. And the pattern that I used is Sprinkles Down the Drain, which is a free lace sock pattern on Ravelry, which I really love. I forgot who it's by, but it's really, really simple and beautiful and exactly what I wanted. I'm super happy with these as well. I think they're stunning socks. And these might be a little bit more summery with the lace. And for these ones, I did my usual Fish Lips Kiss heel. So again, these will be for me. I did 64 stitches on a US size 1, 2.25mm needle, which is what I use for all of my socks. And yeah, I love these so much. I think the yarn is just so stunning. It just speaks for itself. And I'm really happy with how it paired with the pattern as well. So that's finished socks number 2. And my last pair of socks I just finished a couple of days ago on the weekend. And these are my hand spun socks. This is fiber I spun up. It was a merino nylon braid from Elfenwolle, another German indie dyer, who apparently is all I talk about today. So I spun this into a chain ply sock yarn, so it's a 3-ply, and then I just knit a pair of socks. This was slightly thinner. This was about 480 meters per 100 grams, so I did a 68 stitch sock and then decreased further up back to 64 stitches, and again, Fish Lips Kiss heel. It's a vanilla sock. You can see, I think it turned out pretty well. I'm not sure how I feel about these colors, but that's the colors that I chose. And what I really like about these is how I didn't do too much color management on these, but as you can see, they're not matchy-matchy, but they're not too far off either. So I think that's pretty cool. So I'm super happy to have these done. I don't know, somehow towards the end of these I had mixed feelings about them, so these might go into my sock drawer for a while, but I do love hand-spun socks, so I'm sure I'm going to wear these a ton. So these are my finished objects. Let's talk about whips. I don't actually have that many whips to talk about, so that should be good. So first of all, I'm still working on another sock that I showed you last time I recorded, which was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And that is the socks from Bergère de France yarn, which I bought in France last month, I should say, about 4 weeks ago, I think. So the yarn that I'm talking about is this one. It's Bergère de France in their Gumi 50, which is their sock base. And the colorway is Embrun Jaune, I believe. I have this listed in the show notes on Ravelry, so you can just find it there. It's really pretty sock yarn that I think lots of people have been knitting with all over Instagram. So I finished the first socks. These are just vanilla socks because I thought the yarn sort of speaks for itself, and excuse the laddering that would block out. But you can just see I did a vanilla sock with a relatively long cuff. I think I did 85 rows of vanilla sock, and I threw in my Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I did in garter stitch, which I like to do. And yeah, so my first sock is done. Oops, sorry for the shaking. And my second one is maybe 20 rows off, and then I can do the heel, and then they will fly. I purposely did not match these. I just thought it would be fun to have non-matchy socks for these ones. And yeah, I'm still really enjoying this colorway. I love patterning sock yarn, and it's my first time trying this yarn, and I am really enjoying it. It's quite soft for a commercial yarn, and yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I have the same yarn in like 2 or 3 other colorways in my stash, which will probably become gift socks at some point. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Next, I have to show you what is in here. I have no idea. Oh yeah, this is also a new cast on, but the sock is pretty much, the first sock's almost done. So this sock is one that I've been wanting to knit for a while. I'll talk about the yarn first. The yarn is, I don't have the tag with me, but it's Bärenwolle, who I'm sure most of you have heard of. Another German dyer who's quite popular. And this is in her colorway Vogelhochzeit. Again, I will link it in the show notes. I bought this colorway for my birthday last year, so about 15 months ago, and I finally dug into it. I was so excited about this and didn't dare to knit with it for a while because it's just so beautiful. So you can see it's just all these beautiful female colors, and for me this kind of seems a bit magical, so it made sense to cast on one of the patterns from the Magical Melodies cowl, which is a sock collection that is currently hosted or designed by Sarah of Naughty Gnome, who has her own podcast and Etsy store and lots of designs. So it's a 4 pattern club, I guess. So you get 4 patterns, 1 each month. And she actually just released the second pattern, but I wanted to knit the first one first, which is the Spattergroit socks. Again, will be linked in the show notes. So what's really stunning about this pattern is this cable that kind of runs along the top of the sock. And then after the heel, which I did another Gerda Fischlipskes heel, it goes diagonally across the sock and you have a different pattern down here. So I just thought that was such a clever sock construction. I've never knit anything like that. It was so much fun to do. So I just sped through the sock. I think I knit all of this in about 2 days and I'm almost ready to Kitchener the toe. So you can see how obsessed I am with this. I think the second sock is going to be just as fast because it's a simple pattern, but it just kind of keeps you going because you just want to do another repeat, and I really just wanted to get to that fun stuff down here. And yeah, I really, really, really love this. I think it's a perfect pattern and yarn combination, and I'm super happy with these. So the first one's almost done, and I have my yarn already balled up, so I will just knit the second one, and I think these will be done pretty soon. And my last work in progress is, of course, another pair of socks, because I'm sock crazy. And this is a pair that I cast on with some new acquisitions for Kai. Kai bought this yarn and wanted it knit up immediately, and who am I to say no to Kai, right? So for this one, I hope I have a ball band. Yes, I do. So I found this in a yarn shop called Bonifacture, which is south of Munich. It's a really, really beautiful yarn store. I'll talk about it more later. And I've never heard of this yarn before. It's by Atelier Franziska Uhl, who I'm guessing is a German dyer. And it's a 75-25 merino polyamide blend. And the colorway is this one. So it's called Istanbul's Saftverkäufer on her fine merino sock space. So like I said, I've never heard of that yarn before. It just looked really pretty and it's incredibly soft. So of course Kai loved it. And I cast on immediately, and I have a bit of a yarn barf going on here. So I'm calling these my pumpkin spice latte socks because obviously it's a very pumpkin color, and I'm knitting the vanilla latte sock pattern, which is of course coffee themed, so it just made perfect sense for me. So I'm not sure who the designer is, but it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I've knitted a ton of times, and as you can see, I'm knitting these 2 at a time. I'm doing them over 64 stitches because this pattern tends to come out a bit wider than my normal stockinette socks when I knit it. And you can see one is a bit darker than the other one, but this yarn is just glorious. It is so beautiful and incredibly soft. Definitely one of the softest yarns that I've ever knit with. And because Kai is really hard on his socks, I decided to put in some sturdy heels. So this is some, I think it's a Lana Grossa tweed yarn, which is, in comparison, it is very, very scratchy, and I think it'll be perfect to make sure that he doesn't just wear through these, because this yarn, frankly, is just too fancy to ruin these socks within a couple of months. But look how beautiful the yarn is in stockinette as well. I just really, really love these, and I'm having lots of fun knitting these for Kai. I kind of want to keep them for myself, but I'm going to be good. So these are also knit on US size 1 2.25 millimeter needles. And now that I'm past the heels, I think it's going to go quite fast. So again, I'm hoping to get these off the needles pretty quick, which seems crazy because all of these things that I'm showing you, you haven't seen before, but I've just not podcasted for a while, so that's why. So I'm definitely on a sock kick, which is pretty much what happens to me all the time. So yeah, excited about these. And even more excited that I have another skein of the same yarn in a different colorway for me, because now that I've knit with it, I just want to knit with the second skein immediately, and I love the fact that I have one. So that's the perfect tangent to go on to my acquisitions. So I will talk about them, and I will say in advance, I have crazy amounts of acquisitions. I feel really bad about them, or, well, bad is not the right word, but I wasn't sure if I was going to show all of them, but then I looked through them and I really love every single thing, and there was nothing where I was like, well, I can just not show that or show that another week, because each of these yarns is just so beautiful and deserves to be shown. So I'm just going to do that, and if you're one of the people who doesn't like haul videos or yarn acquisitions, then you just don't have to watch it, because that's just the way it is. So please don't judge me if you do want to watch it, and if not, that's fine as well. So first of all, about 2 weeks ago, I had a really tough week at work, like seriously tough, and for a while my friend and I, we had planned to go yarn shopping on a Friday night and then go out for cocktails, and we did, and we stopped by my favorite Munich yarn store, which is the Mercerie. So I decided to pick up 2 skeins of Madeleine Tosh Merino Light. They had all the new Madeleine Tosh colorways, and it was so hard to look at them and not take all of them home. These are the 2 that I did take home. So this is Tosh Merino Light, and this colorway is Cactus Flower, which is just stunning. Like it's a pink with shades of orange and almost like yellow, and it's just so beautiful. And to go with it, I chose this skein. This is the colorway Scout, I believe. And I want to knit a Spectrum shawl by Joji Locatelli, and I think these would be gorgeous together. If I choose to knit something else, of course that would work as well, but that's sort of the idea that I had and the yarn that I was looking for this pattern. I just think these 2 are so stunning and perfect sort of fall colors, and I love these very much. And that was supposed to be my yarn shopping, but the next day, very sort of spontaneously, Kai and I, we were at Lake Starnberg, which is south of Munich, and there's a yarn store in that area that I tried to go to once before, but it was closed. And somehow we just decided to go again and have a look and see if it's open, and it was. And you guys, it might be my new favorite yarn store because it's so beautiful. So like I said, it's called Bonifactur. It's, I don't know, maybe 15 kilometers outside of Munich, but it's a stunning shop, and they have the most amazing yarn selection. So first of all, what I got there was this skein. They're the first and only retailers, I believe, in Germany who sell this yarn, which is Garn Stories, which is another yarn made in Germany that is quite hard to get online. They're super popular, and I mean, just look at these colors. This is in their single space, and it's called Pink Pegasus. It's a merino superwash 100%, 366 meters per 100 grams, and you guys, seriously, every single color that they had, every single one of them I absolutely loved. I could have taken home any single one and would have been very happy, but this one just had to be mine. So I just jumped into my cart. The other skein that I got, and these were the 2 skeins that I was originally planning on getting, was a skein of hedgehog fibers. So they carry hedgehog, and this is hedgehog sock yarn in their juniper colorway. I just love this colorway. It's sort of like a muted blue-gray, and then with these speckles. So it's kind of crazy, but not too crazy, and I really like this colorway, and I love the hedgehog fiber socks that I do have. Lots of people think it's weird to knit socks out of hedgehog. I've done it once, and they've held up amazingly well, and they're great for business and stuff because they're sort of on the thinner side, and they've worn really well, and they're sort of my favorite socks I grab when I need hand-knit socks, especially when I go to work and I have to wear boots all day. So I just want to knit more hedgehog fiber socks because I think the yarn works really well for that, and I have thrown my hedgehog fibers in the washing machine quite a few times and nothing happened to it. It's still in really, really good condition. So I got that one for me, And then Kai came into play and decided he really needs hedgehog fiber socks as well, which is crazy, but who am I to say no? So he picked out this colorway. This is again hedgehog fiber sock in the Construct colorway. So I really like this colorway as well. It's sort of very muted gray, but then it has these speckles running through it, so I think it's going to be super fun to knit up. And these will be also possible for him to wear at work, because he has even fancier work clothes than I do. So I love it, and I think that he will love it, and I'm super, super excited about this. Then, like I showed you before, he picked that orange skein and totally enabled me to get one as well, because it's just so beautiful, and he was like, well, why wouldn't you? So I did. So this is the dyer that I mentioned before, Franziska Uhl, and in her fine merino sock base, and look at these colors, aren't they stunning? So this was a total splurge and not what I had planned for, but it decided it wanted to live with me, so who am I to say no to that? So I'm really happy, and especially, like I said before, now that I know how much I love knitting with this base, even more so. So once again, Franziska Uhl, and she has really complicated colorway names, but yeah, these skeins are a work of art. And I will link the yarn store that I went to in my show notes if I don't forget, because they do sell all of this yarn online as well. They have a really good online shop. So if you're interested, you might want to get some. So the light is getting worse and worse, so I'm trying to get this done rather quickly. So I just showed you the yarn that I got in the yarn stores, but I kind of have a thing that I can't say no to, and that is like sales and offers, especially from dyers who I know, who I've been following for a while, and I kind of feel like I want to support them, and it's just a perfect excuse to further my yarn spending habit. So Nadine, who has the Shibor Garne webshop, was a German dyer who I talk about all the time, because I just really love her yarn, and I'm actually wearing socks of her yarn right now, but I won't put my feet up right now. So anyways, they just had their 2-year anniversary, I believe, of their shop, which is really, really awesome. And to celebrate, they had a few different special offers, and one of them was one day where they had free shipping. So I decided to just jump on it, because I had a bad week. That was the same week, the same bad week. I don't have a bad week every week, in case you're wondering. And oh, the tangents, you guys. So I have been kind of craving sort of like blues and mint colors, which is a new obsession of mine. And another one is that I have kind of been drawn towards kits. So you know that everyone and their grandmother is doing like fade kits, and it's kind of all over Instagram to the point where it's almost a little bit annoying. But for me, it just gave me perfect excuses, because I tend to buy single skeins of things, but if I buy like a fade kit, I could either knit a sweater out of it, or a shawl with like matching colors, or I can knit 3 pairs of socks. So I jumped on one by Shibor Garne, and I don't think that's, oh, it just says Trio Ocean, one of a kind, 149, 148, and 147, and this is the kit. Aren't these colors just stunning? First of all, I really like her new labels. I think they look great. But isn't this kit just everything you ever wanted in your life? I'm sure some of you can understand why I couldn't just leave that there. So this is in the soft sock base. Like I said, it's the trio that's called Ocean. And this just had to live with me as well, because it is just the most beautiful yarn, and I've knit with Nadine's soft sock base a million times. It's like an 80-20 merino nylon base, and like I said, either 3 pairs of socks, like the darkest one could be for Kai, or I could knit myself a faded sweater, or maybe a shawl, but I'm kind of leaning towards a faded sweater, because this yarn is just very soft, and I think it would be great to wear. And it's superwash, so you could just throw the jumper in the wash. So I just love these to death, and I have no regrets. So that's my first fade kit that I bought. Yes, I went all out. That was supposed to be the only yarn, and then I was going to stop. But like I mentioned before, I think we went on a little mini holiday. We went 4 days to Allgäu, which is in the south of Germany, about 1.5 hours from Munich. And it's a beautiful place, and we go there all the time, because we get to stay there for free at Kai's parents' holiday place. So it's a super cute place to just have a free holiday and hang out and relax. And there's also always that one yarn store that we go to when we're in Kempten, which is about half an hour from there. And I stopped by and I was just randomly looking at, they had like one basket of sort of like fancier yarns, and I was just picking out skeins. I really only wanted to get one skein, but it was all in this one basket, so I kept on drawing out colors. And then suddenly I looked at the colors that I had in my hands, and my fate found me again. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I had no intentions, I didn't really plan on combining any colors. I just really wanted to get to the bottom of the basket and see what's there. And suddenly I look and this was there, and it's a fade, right? Isn't this just the most beautiful fade? And with this orange, it's very out of my comfort zone, and it kind of reminds me of fall, and this wants to be another faded sweater. Like, to the point where I kind of want to cast this on maybe today. I'm just so thrilled with it, and I just couldn't leave it there. Even though I really wasn't planning on it, I decided, well, this was obviously meant to be, because that's my own brand of crazy. So the yarns are Debbie Bliss in their Botany Lace, / one of them is Araucania Botany Lace, but I've been told that that's the exactly the same yarn. It has the exact same fiber content, it exactly looks the same, and that's what they told me, and I think it's very true because these skeins do look very matchy-matchy. But aren't they just stunning? Like, I love the tonality of these. This is 100% merino yarn. It was actually not that expensive, which always surprises me, but that yarn shop in Kempten just tends to have the most amazing yarns for crazy prices. So yeah, what can I say? I'm a yarn pig, but I just don't care. And this is going to be another fade. Like I said, I am too lazy to swatch, but if I finally do that, then I think I'm going to cast on some kind of faded sweater tonight or maybe tomorrow. I'm thinking maybe the Flaxlight or the Pavement sweater. I'm just going to take a very basic sort of sweater pattern and just fade these three however I like. And 3 skeins should be enough for me to get a sweater with like 3/4 length sleeves, which is all I want. So yes, I am super, super excited about these. So that means that theoretically I have about 3 fade sweater and 1 normal sweater's quantity of yarn. So 4 sweaters quantity of yarn in my stash right now, which makes me very happy because I do really think about knitting lots of garments lately. And I think now as fall is approaching, it makes perfect sense. And I'm even possibly considering having sort of like a year-long plan to knit a sweater a month or something and completely replace all the store-bought sweaters that I have. I would do that in a heartbeat if it weren't for work. So I'm finding it very hard to figure out yarn or sweaters that I would wear daily to work, because like I said, my work office is kind of strict when it comes to clothes, and a lot of the sweaters that I have knit, although a lot of them are sort of in gray colors and not super like bright, I just wouldn't really feel comfortable wearing them to work. So I'm thinking whether I want to take on the challenge to knit myself a work appropriate hand knit wardrobe, but I haven't made any choices yet. But having a few options for sweater knitting in my stash is definitely the way to go for me at the moment, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So that's the last of my acquisitions. Go ahead and judge, I don't care. I'm super happy with all of these yarns. I'm actually looking forward to sorting them into my stash tonight and just playing with them. And I was thinking about it, and I think I've never been so happy with the yarn I bought than with this haul, because it's just amazing and I love every single thing. So that's why I don't feel bad about it. So that's it for my acquisitions. Sorry if that dragged on forever. The only thing that's left to talk about now is one tiny administrative thing and life in general. So the one thing that I've been wanting to mention for a while is that I get quite a few messages from you guys, which I love, and if you ask me questions, I'm very happy to try to answer them. But the one thing that keeps coming up and I keep saying no to and feeling bad about saying no to is people asking me to do tutorials. And I just wanted to give out a blanket statement. I know and I appreciate that you guys are interested in the way I knit, the way I spin, the way I do my heels, the way I cast on, all of these things, and I would love to help you with that. But quite frankly, I don't enjoy making tutorials. I don't think I'm particularly great at explaining things. And I just don't have the setup either, and it's just not something that I'm interested in doing, to be honest. So I already invest quite a bit of time in this, and I love doing that, but I just don't want to invest time in things that I don't really love doing. So I'm just going to ask you that maybe just don't ask me for tutorials, or if I do, please don't be offended. If you do, please don't be offended if I say no. I find it really, really hard to say no to you guys. But I don't think I'm going to be the person that does tutorials. There are lots of people who do, and they're amazing, and there's so many resources. But yeah, just wanted to clear that up, and I hope that you guys understand. And when it comes to sort of technical questions, like I said, how do you knit your toes, how do you cast on, that sort of thing, I'm also not a great person to ask, because I don't use many resources. I barely ever use online tutorials. I don't have any knitting books. All I know is kind of random bits that I picked up here and there, so it's not like I can just go like, oh yeah, I know these 3 tutorials that would work for you, and I'll just send you the link. And then I feel like if I have to go look up things on YouTube, you might as well look them up yourself and find a tutorial that you like, rather than me looking for things that I like and hope that you like it as well. So what I'm trying to say is I think I'm just not the greatest person to ask for these sort of things, and I hope you guys understand. Of course, you can still always ask, and I'm fine with that. And I don't want to shut anyone out, or if you have asked me in the past, don't feel bad at all. I just wanted to clear that up, because I hate disappointing you guys, and it feels like I'm just disappointing you every single time you send me a message. So with that, let's move on to life in general. So I haven't done this segment in a while. It feels weird, because last time I recorded I didn't, and I've been recording sort of sparsely, because I just didn't have the time. So yeah, I don't really know where to start and where to finish. I guess I should kind of go into the reasons why I've been so busy. There's no big explanation. It's just that work has been intense, as it tends to be. It's kind of always intense, so I'm not sure why I'm so surprised by that, but we've had a few things going on there, and then of course it's summer, and summer just tends to be crazy. So every weekend we've been, doing things and having visitors. So last weekend, like we said, or from Friday night to Tuesday, which is today, we spent the weekend in Allgäu, which was lovely. The first day was terrible weather-wise. We had 11 degrees and rain, and people were actually wearing woolen hats and like winter jackets, and it was incredibly terrible. That's when I may have done my yarn shopping also, because I was just frustrated. But then it cleared up, and it's been like 30 degrees and super hot and sunny ever since. So we had a great time. We didn't really do a whole bunch of things. We just hung out and enjoyed just knitting and talking and having lots of yummy food. Today we met up with Kai's parents, which was lovely, because we don't see them nearly often enough. So that was really, really fun, and they are just so happy to see us as well. So that just worked out really well. We had a really good lunch. So we just arrived back in Munich at like 6 p.m. or something, and tomorrow is back to work, which sucks. Not that I hate work, but I always find it hard to go back after a weekend, and after a 4-day weekend it's much worse. But yeah, everything is fine so far. We have a few busy weekends coming up as well. Next week I have my best friend visiting, and then the week after probably my mom, and then we might have other people in town as well. It just seems that in August everyone decides to do all these things, which are really fun, but they tend to pile up. So I'm kind of in the point where I'm trying to organize people's visits, so it somehow works out, but it doesn't leave that much time. Which is also why I wanted to get a podcast recorded today, because the next 2-3 weekends I'm not going to be able to record, and I do sometimes record after work, but that is very, very hard to plan. So like last week I was planning on doing that, and it just didn't happen. So I just really wanted to get an episode out to you guys, and thanks to everyone who messaged me and asked if I was okay. just in general, as a side note, I know not everyone is on Instagram, but if you are, you can follow me there. I'm the Happy Knitting Podcast. And if, for example, my podcast is delayed or something, I will post it there. Or if I just did my first Instagram giveaway, which was really, really fun. I don't tend to do giveaways for the podcast on Instagram because not everyone is on there, and I like to use Ravelry for that as a platform. But I just randomly felt like giving away 3 of my patterns, and I figured since it's just a pattern related thing, I did it on Instagram, and the winners have already been drawn and received their patterns, so that was really fun. Thank you for everyone who took part in that. What else? I have a few knit-alongs planned, but they're just not final enough for me to talk about them this week, so I'm hoping to record again next week and figure out the details before that, figure out exactly what I want to do, what kind of deadlines, prizes, and so on. So stay tuned for that. And I think that's pretty much it for this week. So I will, of course, I will try to post show notes this week. I haven't done that in a while, but I will try to do that. It might not be right as this podcast is uploaded, but I will definitely try to do some sort of linking this week, because I mentioned a lot of things today, and I think I didn't show a single yarn tag, so bad podcaster right here. And anyways, in the Ravelry group, you can also find a thread for introducing yourself. There's a let's call it a trade swap thread, where you can say you really want to try Felici, for example, but it's not available in your country, so you could ask if someone else would be willing to swap that with you for something that maybe they can't get, but you can get for them. We have coupon codes there. We have a shameless self-promotions thread, so if you have a shop or anything, feel free to promote that there. And of course, if you ever want to get in touch with me, the easiest way is also through Ravelry. So my username is Wupfi, which is WUEPFI. So if you want to just say hello, write me a message, have a question, you have a shop, you want to donate a prize, whatever, that is probably the easiest way to get in touch with me. But of course, I will also every now and then check my YouTube comments on Instagram. But Instagram message is probably the worst way to get in touch, just because I don't get a notification, and I just don't tend to use Instagram for my podcast per se as much. So I hope that I'll see you over in the Ravelry group. If you did enjoy this episode, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, let me know if this location worked. Like I said, I'm recording in my living room today. I'm not planning to do this long term, but I would be interested in your opinion, as long as it is sort of nice and not rude or anything like that. I'm always very careful asking for opinions, because that can backfire. So now I'm just babbling on. Sorry, I feel like I rushed through the knitting part, and now I'm just getting into it. But it's almost like 7:30 now, so I'm just going to find something to eat and then do some knitting, and then mentally prepare myself to go back to work. So until I talk to you again, have a great week. Thank you so much for sticking with me, although my podcast has been very on and off. I know it could be better. I know there's so much more I could do and I want to do, but yeah, I just had to choose my battles, and podcast is just not the top priority right now, which I'm sure most of you will understand. So with that, have a great week. Until I see you again, I would love to hear from you. I hope you have lots of fun yarn and knitting to play with. Enjoy your summer, and I will see you soon. Bye.